Introduction to Copilot.
Welcome to TurboCAD Copilot. Copilot utilizes a suite of tools to elevate your design workflow by allowing you to talk directly with a variety of resources unique to TurboCAD Mac. Information resources include user guides, frequently asked questions, blogs, your CAD data, or the general design knowledge pool. In this video, we'll explore Copilot's user interface and options available for asking questions. First, let's look how to access Copilot. Copilot is accessed through the menu bar, Tools, TurboCAD Explorer. Within TurboCAD Explorer, select the Copilot tab. Within Copilot, you now have options to use some predefined or curated questions using HTML formatted data, as well as example prompts that access the documentation, CAD data, or the general knowledge base. Let's go ahead and ask it what kind of 3D print tools are available with TurboCAD Mac. And we're going to go to some example questions, and we'll put the question in and just hit apply. Okay, it's found from our user guide, it's found a variety of tools. And in fact, if we want to go directly to the user guide from here, we can click on a link that it provides, go to the search tool and type in 3D printing and access the documentation as well. Next, what we want to do is provide a question related to the file. And I'll go back over to some of my curated questions, and let's ask it to examine my file for 3D printing. Okay, it's returned, and it's provided a set of results from a series of tests. And it sees that we're within our volume. There's no duplicated facets, collapsed facets. It is a watertight body. There's no manifold edges, no warnings, consistency with the normals. And it gives some individual part analysis and more or less says that this part is fit for printing. Now let's do another test. Let's just ask it to tell me something interesting and engaging about my file. Now this is an example where it just examines some of the file properties, some of the mathematical characteristics of the geometry as well as attributes, and it sends it all to the AI to see what it can come up with as interesting. Okay, it's returned with some observations associated with my file. It noted from my file properties the name of the file. It was created by myself, and it's a file that serves as a 3D printing example. In this particular example, I assigned it a steel material type. It picks that up. It also finds my bounding box and size of the part, and it notes that this is part of a video that I made showing how to do 3D printing, and it puts a link to that as part of the file properties. And then it finds some interesting geometric data associated with the three parts regarding the names, the types of objects that they are, the volume, centroid, and some principal moments of inertia. Lastly, let's go ahead and have it do something outside of the knowledge of our documentation and outside the knowledge of our CAD file data, and ask it some questions about 3D printing. I want to ask it for some suggestions on materials for 3D printing, as well as provide some cost estimates. Okay, so it's returned back with a list of potential material types and a possible cost estimate for each of these, along with the strengths and the weaknesses for each of these choices. And then it also provides some notes for us. Now, one more thing you can do is you can save your data, and I'm going to go ahead and save this out so that I can recall it and it'll bring it up into a browser, or you can just bring it back into Microsoft Word. And if you want to get more information about Copilot, go to the Copilot Frequently Asked Question drop-down, and it'll give you the latest information about Copilot, its uses, some example prompts, keywords, and kind of how it works for some of the data extraction, how you can improve, does it support languages, and such. And to conclude, let's show some example questions and answers from Copilot.
Copilot Overview.
In this video, we provide an introduction to Copilot, an AI CAD assistant integrated directly. Copilot can help you with the following tasks. It can query into a large data set of documentation and find relative context. It can talk directly to your CAD data by extracting mathematical properties and attributes. And it can help identify anomalies and issues with your CAD data. We're going to go ahead and demonstrate some of these features today. Now, let's begin with showing a traditional way a designer would access documentation. So let's go ahead and bring up our user guide, and we're going to type in some keywords, and we'll do some keyword searching. We're going to search for solid from profiles. And then we'll click on it. Basically, the keyword searching, you put your keywords in, it gives you a whole list of stuff, you examine the list, and then you pick the content from the list. Another example, let's go to our YouTube channel, and let's do another keyword search. We'll type in solid modeling, and it'll find a list that we can then examine and pick and click what we want. Now, let's see what we can do with an AI assistant. An AI assistant, we can ask it to tell us what tools are available for solid modeling and to provide any videos related to the tool. So in one click, we're going to go ahead and we're going to have it analyze all of our documentation, get the proper context to answer my screen, and provide any videos related to my question. Okay, so now it's found, what tools we have available in ViaCAD. We have solid primitives, profiles, booleans, features from solid utilities, local face, or direct edit modeling. And it's come up with a couple of videos. We can go ahead and click videos. Here's one that we have regarding how you can do threads in ViaCAD. Or here's a whole playlist associated with solid modeling that you can get. This is called RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation, and it's a great first step for AI and CAD. Now, what's great about RAG is it can take a query or a concept and it can create a response that may not be obvious for what you could find with a simple word search approach. So I think that's very exciting for any experienced designer to learn and interact with a set of documentation that we didn't have before. Now, as one more example, let's ask Copilot to tell me something interesting about ViaCAD. So Copilot has reviewed the context, and it found the section on parent-child associativity as interesting. Now, if you use keyword searching through the user guide, nowhere are the words interesting and associativity mentioned together. Copilot has come up with something unique and different that I couldn't have found using traditional methods. This idea got me so excited that I wondered what would happen if I threw at the AI CAD data instead of user guides. What would it find interesting about a bunch of mathematical properties and attributes? I mean, I have at my disposal a very precise modeling kernel using Dassault ACES that can calculate and provide all kinds of properties ranging from derivatives, mass properties, continuities, lengths, areas, volumes. Well, it surprised me, leading to the next set of demonstrations. Now, let's see how Copilot works directly on my CAD data with my file. We're going to use the wrench file I used some years ago to demonstrate 3D printing of a single STL file with movable parts. First, let's get a summary of my file by typing in the following. Summarize the entities in my file for interesting properties. Okay, so it has examined my file and it has extracted out some metadata from our file properties attributes, where I can get some comments about the file. I can actually, my metadata includes the actual video of the 3D printing. I can click on it and it'll play my video for me. It can also, it's reviewing all the entities I have in my part. I have a screw, it has some mass properties, density, material name, I have a handle, and I have a grip. And then there's some overall file properties. So that's interesting. It's just a really quick summary of what I have in my file. Let's go do something else now. I'm going to have it examine my file in detail for 3D printing to explain whether it passed or failed, or if there are any warnings associated with any of my files. So let's go ahead and put in our question and hit apply. Okay, we received our results back from our question regarding 3D printing. And we can see that it provides us with a summary of each of the parts. There's 3 parts, and it tells us that the test that it passed includes it's a valid volume. There's no issues with the facets such as being duplicated or collapsed. It's closed and watertight. There's no non-manifold edges. It's a single component, and its normals are consistent with orientation. Same thing for the handle, and likewise for the grip. So this shows that it will pass the initial test for 3D printing. Alright, next up I want to ask it why I can't blend my part with a 0.6 inch blend. So let's go ahead and put it into the AI query and select my object and click apply. Okay, and it returns back and it tells us that it can't blend because of the tight curvature that exists in the file, and in fact the minimum radius of curvature is 0.46, implying that radial blends higher than that are going to fail. Now, one thing I want to do next is I want to ask it where the minimum radius of curvature occurs. So let's ask it that so I can get a location on my model to further understand the situation. Okay, so I'm just asking it where the minimum radius of curvature is for the selected entity. Okay, and it is telling us it is at this location, 9.2 minus 0.299.4. And if I create a little sphere at that point, that is this location right here. And you can see that that is a really tight turn in the model that is preventing larger blends. Lastly, just a few words about the state of AI as we look at some of the question answers we've used to test the Copilot so far. First, everything is rapidly changing. The underlying technology that we are using, consisting of machine learning libraries, large language models, system prompts, user prompts, embeddings, assistants, and agents, are rapidly changing and evolving. But some large issues remain that include 1. The need to improve accuracy. The response accuracy needs to get consistently better, especially in engineering where precision and accuracy matter. Much of this is dependent on LLM models' continued improvement. AI is an incredible assistant for an inexperienced engineer who has the ability to double-check the AI. However, for an inexperienced engineer, the results could be disastrous. Large language models need to follow system and user instructions better. I frequently see the large language model deviate from my instructions with what I call lazy responses. And finally, performance needs to improve. Currently, responses can take 15 plus seconds. For a designer exploring ideas, the AI needs to keep up without breaking up the thought process. and some final thoughts about my experiences so far. The integration of AI with CAD technology represents the most thrilling advancement in the field that I have encountered in decades. And we still need to explore text-to-CAD using scripting or image reconstruction during Sora. Reflecting on my journey since the early 80s, when I had the privilege of being part of a pioneering team at Lockheed that facilitated the transition of engineers from drafting boards to CAD, I cannot help but get excited at the impact this combination will have on engineering productivity. As a longtime CAD developer, it's exciting to be part of this next transformative stage in CAD. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.
User interface of Copilot.
In this video, we introduced the user interface of Copilot. Copilot is accessed from the TurboCAD Explorer tabbed interface. It's the last tab to the right of Entities, Layers, Symbols, and finally Copilot. Copilot provides access to information that may be of mixed content. This includes text, images, and videos. Information may be coming from our tool help. Pressing on any tool will display the associated help in the Copilot window. It could be info links. For example, selecting the drop-down provides us access to information such as what's new, what's getting started, frequently asked questions, and it could also provide access to our online user guide. And then lastly, Copilot provides an interface to ask questions and get answers from our AI assistant. All right, the Copilot user interface consists of two drop-down menus in the upper right-hand corner. The first drop-down provides access to existing content, especially useful to new users, such as what's new, getting started, and frequently asked questions. The second drop-down provides access to curated questions for the AI version of Copilot. Questions are categorized into help. This is talking with our user guides and our other documentation related to the product. The next set is related to talking to the CAD data, the file that's loaded. You can ask it mathematical and other properties associated with your CAD data, and you will find some example questions to how to do that. And then the third category is the general knowledge base, where here you talk to an AI independent of our application. And then lastly, the ability to convert text to images, which is useful for support of our photo rendering textures and backgrounds. At the bottom of Copilot, you'll find some additional controls that include a back button. This will just retrieve the last AI response that you got. Save, which is very useful for taking whatever is in the Copilot window and it saves it out to an HTML file. This is great for if you have some interesting content that you've created from your CAD data and you want to bring it into Word to further spice it up. Clear, it cleans out whatever's in the response window. And then last, apply. This will take the question that you have entered and send it off to the AI where you can get a response. Lastly, if you have any further questions about Copilot, click on the Copilot Frequently Asked Question link, and this will tell you all about Copilot and provide more details on how to use it.
How to register Copilot.
In this video, we demonstrate how to register Copilot. Copilot comes in 3 flavors. Trial, which includes professional access for 2 weeks. Copilot Help, which allows you to talk to our documentation. And Copilot Professional, which allows you to talk to documentation, CAD data, image, and general AI. Let's go ahead and ask a question for Copilot. Let's ask, tell about spline tools. And we'll type in your question, hit apply, and we'll see that, hey, Copilot's not enabled for this product, and it tells us how to go about to register it. And we need to go to the Help, Copilot Registration. So let's do that. Let's go to Help, Copilot Registration, and we'll get a dialog box where we can enter our information. So I'm going to type in my name, my email address, organization, and you'll get a key. So let's go ahead and activate it. And now let's just go ahead and re-enter our question about tell me about splines. And here you can see we get a response. Now you can also tell you're activated by going over to the Preferences, Registration tab, and you'll see here we have our Copilot activation key stored. Now if you ever need to disable Copilot, for example, if you have Copilot Help and you want to upgrade to Copilot Professional, what you will do is come into Copilot, type in clear, and then hit apply. Are you sure you want to override it? Yes, we do. And now we see we have turned it off.
Thanks for watching.